Good evening everyone. Welcome to Daily News Analysis by Tathastu ICS. So today we are going to see certain topics from Hindu newspaper for the day 19th May 2026. Okay, so we are going to see certain topics which will be included in our UPSC preparation. Okay, so you will get this PDF in the description box in 2 minutes. Otherwise, you will get the PDF in the Telegram channel as well. You can scan this QR code and join the Telegram channel. Okay. चलिए आज पहले देख लेते हैं. So India-Norway partnership, yesterday also we have discussed. So more of a trade or a economic partnership, it will be going to be a sustainable partnership. Okay, so here we are going to think about the technology transfer. Okay, and along with the technology we are going to see certain economical perspective as well. Okay, and there will be a strategic partnership as well. Okay, so this is important for us in the GS2 paper when it comes to the IR perspective, and also the outcomes are sometimes the outcomes are related to what, the cleaner energy, the technology transfer, the maritime cooperation. Okay, so all these things are coming under this. Okay, then so you can use this topic or you can use this partnership thing in a different places, in the different perspectives. Okay, the second one is about the unlearned lessons. So in UP recently we had what, this storm, right? So we had a huge casualties. We are just going to see what happened there, and more of it we are just going to see what was the issue, why people weren't aware about the upcoming storms and everything, what could be done so that we would have reduced the casualties. Okay, so it is important for us in the disaster management, because see, whenever there is a climatic events or an disaster event, okay, so it basically appears in disaster management. Okay, because how we are going to anticipate it, okay, the predictability, okay, what can be done, what should be done, the awareness among the people, telling the people like what is going to happen, when it is going to happen, and what they have to be done. All those actions have to be discussed to the people, right? So here we are going to see it in the GS3 paper, and also in this article they have mentioned the governance issue majorly. Our meteorological department is working well, okay, but the major issue here is it was predicted event tha, okay, it was a predicted event, but still why it is not able to like why the casualties are huge, it is because of the governance issue. So we are going to see it in another perspective of GS2, which comes under the governance problem. Okay, then third one is about the waiting for the storm. Okay, and also the fourth one is about Indian research funding. Okay, so here we are going to see the gender gap, and along with that we are just going to it will be applying in your GS1 paper in the society. Okay, how women are having the dual burden and how it is how it is destroying women's career. Okay, what are all the issues with the supporting system and everything that we are going to see from here. Okay, so generally India is growing in multiple disciplinaries, but there is very less support. Okay, so where there is a very less support for people. Okay, people in the sense women in that cases, so that the representation of women is very less in the technological related or high profiled jobs or high profiled research centers. Women's representation is very less. That we are going to see why and everything, and the gender gap, what all the solutions can be given internationally, what and all have been followed, where we can learn from. All these things we are going to see from this. Okay, the fifth one is about India-South Korea defense ties. We are going to see how it is beneficial to India. So again, when it comes to the ties, it is IR perspective. Okay, along with our FTAs and everything, here we are moving towards like not only the defense collaboration, even the defense exports will be done. We are going to see the benefits, the challenges and everything. Okay, and it is in the GS2 IR perspective. And the last one is about the Central Information Commission. Okay, this is polity part, so it comes under GS2, where the Central Information Commission have told that BCCI will not be coming under the regulations of RTI. So, it is not obliged to tell the the informations, obliged to give the informations, as it does not come under the RTI Act eligibility. Okay. So, we are going to see what are the eligibilities, okay, and why BCCI is not coming and who and all will be coming under the Right to Information Act 2005. Okay. So, this is a basic concept we are going to see, and if you have any doubt, we will discuss end of the day. Okay. So, first one, Modi meets Norwegian Prime Minister as they seek to raise ties to Green Strategic Partnership. So, here the Green Strategic Partnership is not a simple term, okay, it is a very great term where we are going to see about, okay, the climate friendly development, okay, and the clean energy transition, sustainable industrial growth, and also the environmental friendly technology, where we will be attaining our the global promises and also the global claims for those the cleaner energy. So, we are going to have a different perspective, different collaboration with whom, the Norwegian and also the Nordic countries. Okay. So, one among them is Norway. So, our Prime Minister and the Norwegian Prime Minister, they both have came and they met and they have brought up certain things, so that we are going to discuss. Okay. So, here our Prime Minister have told that we should use a diplomacy instead of war to solve the global conflicts, and also they have discussed about Ukraine war and also the West Asian conflicts, how those kind of conflicts are impacting on others' economy, trade, and also the global supply chain, all these being a disruptions because of those conflicts. And we are going to see they have discussed about like what can be like the weaponization should not be done, instead we have to go towards the diplomacy. Okay. So, these are the things that they have discussed yesterday. So, when we talk about the green energy cooperation, okay, the hydrogen technology. So, here we are going to move towards the cleaner energy, right? We are supposed to move to cleaner energy. So, what for that we are moving towards the hydrogen technology, where our industries will be using the hydrogen technologies, and also we will be having the tie-ups for the EV vehicles and the technologies from there. Okay. Along with that, if you see the trade and investments and also many other things related to technology and climate collaboration will be there. When it comes to climate collaboration, it is like the global warming or the climate change events. For that, how we are going to act upon, and we are going towards the cleaner energy. Yes, Yukti, what is the issue? Please let me know what is the emergency that you have. Okay. Okay. So, along with that, we are going to have trade and investment, where the institutional collaboration also will be there, where we will be learning from them and we will be using it in our economy as well. Okay. So, the supply chain, the alternative supply chain, where we yesterday discussed the Nordic and the Arctic Circle, if we built a eco-friendly shipping, okay, and also if we go for the icebreakers in every car, excuse me, most probably आपको नहीं हो जाएगा admit card में issue, but the problem the thing is like you have to keep your admit card and the photo identity card. ठीक है, both the name have to be matched, and you should tell them the invigilator, okay, the person who is at the gate, and also to the person in the invigilation like the invigilator, you have to inform them वो ऐसे change हो गए. ठीक है, but you were given the details, no, so there will be no issues. Okay, don't worry, Yupti. Chalo, let's come back to it. Okay, so the trade and investment, here we are going for alternative supply chains, where we will be getting the supply chains will be very stable, and as well as we will be getting the lower the cost of oil and everything, the expenditure related to the shipping costs will be reduced, and the stable and alternative supply chain will be what? That will be benefiting us in the larger trade. Okay, when we have undisturbed supply chain, we will be getting a good trade amount, and also we will be having technologies also can be exchanged. When it comes to climate, yesterday also we saw like how the Himalayas, the glaciers study and everything we are going to do, and apart from that, the disturbances, the western disturbances, and also the monsoonal impact that India will be having. Okay, so based upon that, the climate related, the weather related study also will be going on. Okay, so that is what they have said about maritime security, where we have talked about the expansion of NATO yesterday, right? The Norway and Sweden have joined NATO, so the Russia will be also strengthening their security, and from there we will also be like the Norway and Sweden also will be getting the getting their border security tightened, and along with that, if we are going for the joint military exercises and everything, and also the green blue economy, where the fisheries also we are going to get it from there, right? So the technologies of fisheries and also the shipping for the fisheries, everything will be collaborated. We will be having a green blue economy as well. Okay, so that is a major thing. And Arctic operation, that we have talked about the researches and also the icebreaker shipping and everything. Okay, the resources sharing and all those things. Technology and climate collaboration, that we have talked about. Greener energy. Okay, along with that, they have discussed about the global conflicts as well. Okay, so any other doubt till now? Otherwise, shall we move towards the thing? Okay, why, if you see why Norway is very important for India, India is having a greater opportunity for natural gas and everything. Okay, there will be a very shorter route. Along with that, we will be having the green technology like carbon capture, okay, carbon sequencing, and the cleaner energy technology from the European nations. All these things will be helpful for India. Okay, alternative supply chain that we have discussed, and then extended economy when it comes to the fishery and everything, the maritime cooperation when it comes to the security. So this somewhere or the other we are being active in Indo-Pacific region as well, right? So when we have different domain to understand and to have the resources, that will be helpful for India as well. Okay? And if you have any other doubt, let's discuss, otherwise we will move to the next topic. Okay? Any other doubt? I didn't get any response right now, so I guess there is no doubt. ठीक है, चलिए next topics में चलते हैं. This is where the basic things that we have discussed: the energy cooperation, right? Oil and everything, the green technology, maritime cooperation, Arctic cooperation, the geopolitical significance, where we talked about the West Asian conflict and everything, right? Okay. TEP is nothing but trade and economic partnership. Okay. Then the unlearned lessons. Okay. So here we are going to see, like when we yes, here we are going to see the major issue when it comes to the oil or the energy security. Okay. So in recent times also we have learnt about like how we are facing the issue when we have the supply and everything, but still the storage was the main issue. So here they have talked about that only. Major issues about the storage things. Okay. So is India is ready for its emergency period, and if there is any global oil shocks, are we ready for counteracting that? If that is a question, that is a very big challenge for India, because when you see the amount that we actually India stores, okay, the storage and the consumption is completely mismatching. Okay, in Indian cases, it is majorly of what? The reserves. Okay, for example, the reserve is for 10 days. Okay, the storage is actually is like sorry, the reserve is of 10 days, and the consumption, okay, consumption is majorly like the consumption that equals to, okay, 10 times of 10 days. So the storage is very less when it comes to Indian context. So that is what they are telling, weakness in India's energy security system. Energy security system is like we are over dependent on certain countries like Iran and Russia. Okay, that is one thing, the over dependence. And the second thing is about what? The storage issue. The major thing is about dependence and the reserves. So the two things makes a great impact on a strategic autonomy, that you have to keep it in mind. Okay, because how it is when you are dependent on somebody. Okay, for example, the real cases we will take, when we are majorly dependent upon, like 85% of our oil are being imported, and most of the oil and natural gas are being imported from Iran, right? So from that we are like our fertilizers, the oil, natural gas, everything was majorly dependent upon one particular country. Okay, when US and Iran were having the conflict, US asked us to come out of the Iranian oil, and also in the case of Russia also happened the same. So what happens, this over dependence on one particular country, it shows that there will be some energy shock also will be there, and at times you have to bend towards the other country who are directing towards your happening, like how US is asking you, like US is allowing us and or directing us where we have to purchase the oil from. So there our strategic autonomy is getting affected. Are you getting the point clear? So the dependence and also the reserves, when we have enough reserves, okay, when it come comparatively, in this article also they have told that the same thing happens with China. India and China are in a same position in that kind of a place. Okay, China also imports majorly the oil, and also India also imports their energy security majorly. Okay. So what happens with China is they have a larger reserves. If there is any global conflict, if there is any global emergency or the internal emergency, they will be sufficient with their reserves. Okay, but in the case of India, it is not like that. India has a very minimal storage, and that is like for decades we are like we have this issue for decades, but still we are not doing the problem. We are not solving this problem. We have to increase our what? The reserves. Okay, electric vehicle will help. Like for electric vehicles, EV vehicles also, what we have to do is we don't have the lithium batteries and everything. Again, we are depend upon the technology and also the batteries, okay, from Korea and also many other countries. So that is also one of the issue. So that's why now Indian government is morely into what? They are more focusing about the FTAs and also the trade agreements, where we will be getting the technology as well and also the resources in a discounted or a sustainable way. Okay, so that is what the major issue here, that is what the major thing here. Okay, so when we talk about it, India does not have enough strategic reserves of petroleum and gas, so that we have discussed, right? So the increased oil prices and the rising inflation, okay, and this made the rupee weakened, okay, and also our forex is also under the pressure. So the gold import at point of time we can reduce it, because if we are imposing more charges on the gold, people will be importing it, like people will be buying it very less, so the import also will be going down, first thing. But when it comes to the petroleum and gas, it is something very essential. In India, EV vehicles are very less when it compared to petroleum. So industries, the vehicles, and also India is the third largest automobile industry that has in India. Okay, so along with those industries which basically run on this petroleum and gas. Okay, if there is any shock on this, if there is any disruption in the supply of petroleum and gas, this will be impacting on a major industry of automobile and also the daily conduction. Okay, not only the petroleum and gas, it have been extended to what? The fertilizers and also our LPG and LNG, that is also under a pressure and a question mark if the reserves have been completely, okay, if we are not able to meet out the daily consumption, then it will be a great question mark. So that's why our Prime Minister have told us to go for work from home, so that the consumption of petroleum and the natural gas will be going down when it comes to the CNG vehicles. Okay, and also like if you are going for less like imported oils or something, okay, the refinery oils and everything, so that will be like the reducing the amount of oil consumption, that will be helping Indian economy. Okay, so these are the things that have been interlinked. So now we are going to see the forex under pressure. How? Because keep on importing the energy, okay, which is oil and gas, the crude oil basically, that will be giving out our forex reserves, because every barrel of oil have been dealt with the dollars only. So the more oil we purchase, the more dollars we have to give it out. So that is a major issue. Then creating a larger emergency reserves for what? The oil, LPG and the natural gas. Okay, this have to be done. So that is what discussed here. So in this article, how much the storage we have, okay, and what is the consumption, where how it is imbalanced proportion between the consumption and the reserve, and what are all the other countries like US and China, how they do deal with all these global oil shocks and everything, what can be learned from them. These are the things given here. Okay, so that is what the whole thing about here. So here the SPR, okay, so it is nothing but the reserves of the petroleum. Okay, so they are talking about that. So the emergency crude oil stocks have to be kept. Okay, so there should be particular stocks have to be kept in the reserve, especially for emergency period. Okay, when you see in China, their reserves is also good. Along with that, they will be having this particular emergency stocks also will be in a higher manner. Okay, so when it comes to the supply chain disturbances or wars or any other oil shock or the geopolitical crisis like West Asian conflicts, or if there is any other issue, at that point of time this emergency crude oil stocks will be helping them. But again, in Indian cases we have very less storages. Okay, so in India we have only reserves for only 7 days of demand. So if in the emergency crude oil stocks we have the oil and the energy only to what? To an extent of 7 days demand only we can meet out with those things. Then talking about the US example, it produces massive domestic oil. We all know when we have the conflict with Iran, when US and Iran have having the conflict, at that time US asked us to buy oil from US, right? So one of the idea to get Venezuela, like the actions on Venezuela is also for the oil, right? So the reserves there. So the major thing is about in US has their own domestic oil, and they will be having the 90 days emergency oil. Okay? So that is the major thing. When it comes to China, as I have told you, they are also importing and they are also dependent, but still how they are better than India when it comes to their preparation. So they are already well prepared for emergency period, and also if there is any supply chain disruptions or any other things, okay, they will be directly getting it from the Russian oil, right? So even because of Ukraine or Russia war, if Russia is going on with any other problems and if it is not able to transact the oil and energy, China will be having other like the Indo-Pacific regions, countries having a good ties with them. So from them they will be getting the oil. So they have different, the diversification is also good, the reserve storage is also good for China. So that is how China is better than India when it comes to the oil security, the energy security basically. Okay, and India's vulnerability majorly because of the import dependence. 80% of the crude oil, okay, crude oil is from what? The import only. So that is a major thing. And the next one is about the West Asian dependency. Mostly the oil has been imported from West Asia, and the disturbances in that supply chain and the conflict in that particular country is making a huge shock. And when it comes to the third one, lacks of sufficient reserves. So these are the major issues that we see. For import we cannot do anything, but because India doesn't have the oil resource, okay, basically India doesn't have much oil reserves, but we have to go for resources. What we have to go, we have to get it from outside only. But one better thing what we can do is, instead of buying from one particular country, we can diversify. And other thing, the energy should not be, the mobility should not be based upon one particular thing, which is petrol, diesel or crude oil. Instead we have to go for other options like the natural gas, okay, the solar energy, and also EV vehicles. So this kind of diversification in the resources, okay, also the diversification of like the products also have to be done. So that is what majorly discussed here. Okay, clear till now? If there is any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise they have told about the stocks, how much our stocks that they have, strategic petroleum reserves and everything. Okay, so they have mentioned here 80,000. Okay, the see, we have reserves of what, the LPG storage reserve of what, around 1.4 lakh tons, but the daily consumption itself 80,000 tons. Okay, so when you see, there is a very less chances for us to escape from those global shocks. Okay, we distribute refined petroleum to other countries, right? Okay, okay. Just read about it, okay, and also the fertilizer also have been mentioned here. Just have a glance. Okay, moving on to the next topic, which is waiting for the storm, which we have discussed about the governance issue. Majorly they have said that, okay, the predictability was quite good. Okay, predictability is quite good, but when it comes to the governance, that's the issue that we are facing. Okay, we will see one by one. So this article is basically talking about certain things. One is disaster management. Okay, what the disaster management department will be doing, they will be anticipating, they will be they will be studying about the upcoming events and everything. They will be studying about it, and they will be explaining the peoples what have to be done, what cannot be done. Even they will be giving the alert system and everything, the warning system, everything is based upon that only. Okay, so the climate vulnerability that India has, and also the extreme weather conditions right now India is going through because of the western disturbances. Okay, the warning systems, how in India it works, and what is the issue with the warning system, the governance failure with the infrastructure and everything, infrastructure weakness, and along with that we are going to see what is the major issue when it comes to the last mile information. Okay, so that we are going to see. Okay, so these are the major concerns that have been discussed in this article. We are going to see that. Okay, so in UP, quick glimpse in UP, we had a thunderstorms. Okay, there were a lot of infrastructure have been, the housing have been destroyed. Because of that, actually there is a lot of casualties, many people have been injured also. So when we look into the issue why this happened, the storm came in the evening time. Okay, when the timing of the storm was like late evening, so where people will be in their houses, they will be doing their own evening works. Okay, so people inside the houses, because of the poor infrastructure, the rural and the urban poor infrastructure, there we got a lot of like disruption in the housing and everything. So that fell on the people and that caused higher casualties. Okay, so here what we are going to see, first thing is about the pre-monsoon convective systems. So where here they are technically talking about the hot air rising, the intact with the moisture, okay, and the unstable atmosphere. So here we are able to see the interaction with the wind system. Okay. So what actually happens in India at this particular time is, which is the majorly western disturbances. Western disturbance is nothing but from the Mediterranean area, okay, the hot air will be risen and it will be moving towards eastward and it will be affecting major northern part of India. Okay. So, there the monsoon will be affected, there will be less monsoon and we will be having like immediate, like unpredictably, it will be unusual thunderstorms, you know, the hailstorms and all will be coming, like the what happens, the clouds will be uh, growing to a large, like cumulonimbus clouds will be formed, okay, thunderstorms will be there. So, because of the moisture and also the hot air along with the different phenomena, okay, the ice pellets will be formed into hailstones and they will be showering the hailstones. Okay. Generally like the ice balls kind of something will be falling from the clouds, right? So, that is hailstones. Okay. So, this is what happening. So, when it comes to the western disturbances, because of the hot air and the moisture combination, this arises. So, they both will be clashing together, because of that the gaseous clouds will be formed and they will be for kilometers and everything, they will be giving the major downpour. Okay. So, that is what the torrential climate at that particular time, heavy torrential one. Okay. So, that is a major issue here. Okay. So, the western disturbance that we have talked about, then the interaction of wind system, where we are talking about the convergence zone, where we are saying that the hot dry loop, okay, like kind of a storm, okay, with hot and dry air, it will be moving towards the eastward, and the moisture from the Bay of Bengal side, it will be interacting with this hot air, and immediately what will be happening, the clouds will be started because of the unbalanced atmosphere and also the unbalanced temperature, the clouds will be formed and it will be giving this thunderstorm. So, that is what the major issue here is. Okay, the airs will be erosion, okay, the cloud formation will be there, thunderstorms will be basically happening. Okay, so, this is the science behind it. This is what happened when it comes to the thunderstorms. Okay, this is why it happened. So, now we are going to see what is the major issue. It is uneven terrain. So, another thing which helped, okay, for the formation of cloud, especially for the contribution of moisture, is this uneven terrain where the Vindhya Hills, Mirzapur and the Sonbandar. Okay. So, this is the major issues, the uneven terrain where the hills, valleys and everything were one of the contribution for this moisture interaction with the hot air. Okay. So, that is what the hottest. Okay. So, these are the contributors, and the problem here we are talking about the infrastructure is weak in housing. So, the roofs, okay, and along with the quality of the houses, okay, and along with that the terrain where the houses have been built, all these things are under scrutiny, because the infrastructure planning and the city planning where the evacuation plans, okay, this is not been done, okay, and also the the excessive water for the excavation of the excess water. So, the drainage system, all these things have to be, okay. So, that is a major concern that we have to look upon. Okay. Then the unsafe public infrastructure, again talking about the housing and things and the warning system. So, when it comes to the warning system, okay, the early warning system and also what, the preparedness for facing any, okay, Pradeep Kumar. Okay. So, the major issue, okay, is about the infrastructure, the governance here, because the initial itself we have talked about the governance, right. So, governance is about already the meteorological IMD, Indian Meteorological Department have told that, see, we are going to have this, please be prepared. But are we prepared for that? The people got their alert, okay, but it is not location specific. It is not location specific. Randomly people got the alerts. One is the thing, and second thing is about the last mile. Like first, what we have to do, okay? What we have to do, and when it is going to happen, and the action that people used to do, all these things are not been discussed to things. Okay, so that is a major thing. And along with the governance problem, we are going to see the urban and the rural infrastructure, where the housing, roofing, and also the water disposal and everything has been a question mark here. Okay, is there is any doubt till now? So that is a major governance issue we are talking about. Okay, the warning system and the infrastructure, these two are the things which is responsible for this higher casualty. Okay, read about it, and just if you have any doubt, please let me know. Okay. See, the climatic conditions that we cannot do anything with it. Okay, but when it comes to the preventive measures, or after happening with all those events, what we can be what we can do so that the casualties or the destructiveness will be less, so that we have to focus upon. If think if that alert system have been location specified, and they have told them, like initially in the social medias or in the All India Radio and newspapers, even in news channels, if they have published this particular specific location based people, they have to be alert, like they have to be aware about the coming thunderstorm and what can be done. So at that time, even immediately they have to come out of their houses and everything. We have to focus upon like certain things, right? So if that have been communicated on time properly, so then this would have not been happened. So that is what the governance issue they are telling about. Okay, and comes to the gender caregiving, the law in India, research funding, we are going to talk about the gender gap actually in the science, research, and also the research and development based system, the research and development based uh, department, and also how technically in the technical departments how women are facing the issues. Okay, generally if you see Indian women, not only Indian women, women are considered for caregiving, right? As a mother, as a like wife or a sister, whatever the bonding is, majorly the caregiving part will be emotionally have been been given with women majorly, right? So now how that is being a burden for them for their career things, that we are going to see here. And in this article they have told about certain constitutional values also, where there have been a provisions for encouraging women when it comes to the giving the relaxations and the flexibility to encourage them to participate in the Indian economy and also India's growth. Okay, and along with that they have discussed the how the global countries are working with the maternity leave and everything, how the global countries are working with women when it comes to especially for those scientific and the technological areas. Okay, so that we are going to see here. Majorly the challenges faced by women, okay, after marriage and childbirth responsibilities, this is becoming the dual burden, where they have to take care about their professional life as well as their like the household life also. Okay, so when it comes to marriage institutions, still women are expected to do all the things in the morning, like cooking, cleaning the houses, taking care of the elderly people in the house. Everything has to be done, the medicines and everything has to be taken care by the women, and they have to come back to the offices and works, right? So that is a major issue. And along like balancing the professional life and also the personal life with the extra burden, so that is setting a that is setting a hurdle for women in the growth of their career. Okay, so now we are going to see India is progressing in the science, tech, space research and everything, but there is an unequal support there. When it comes to India, even the maternity leave is there, but how largely it has been provided, it has been provided only with the 15 days. Okay, so only for that 15 particular days the father can take care of a child, right? So if I am a woman, okay, I got married, and if I have a kid, along with that I have to I have a big career thing that I am working in ISRO or any other space related thing, okay, aerospace. So at that time, if I have these responsibilities, I cannot give up on my child health also, the caregiving part also, and I cannot give up on my career. Either it will be, there will be career gaps, so that I'll be missing out with my promotions and everything. I'll be missing out with my careers and whatever the degrees if I am pursuing, all those things, okay, it will be blocked for some time, and it have to be completely off. What? I have to take care of the kid, right? So if in case, if the person, like if the other, my spouse is getting the paternity leave, okay, at that time I can focus on my career also. So that time, for time being, they can also take care of the child in the household. So this collaborative, the cooperative mechanism is not prevailing in India in a larger way. So that is what they are talking about. Okay, and women loses opportunities, okay, opportunities, grants, and the promotions and the research positions, because majorly because of this caregiving and the professional work dual burden. Okay, that is what they have said that. So even after this, the structural gap is also coming. So the problem here is, when there is a structural gap, when the policies are not made like that, even the maternity leave, okay, it is mandatory when 50 plus employees are been working, okay, in the private institutions also, it is mandatory for them to give the maternity leave. But the problem here is, that is not alone enough. The age relaxation is alone is not enough. We have to go with more supportive systems, the flexibility of the timelines, the flexibility of the grants that the schemes are given, okay, along with that the timeline for completing work, when it especially comes to the additional responsibility having women, like the married women and also women who are being mother, okay, they have to given with a flexible timeline also. So they should be a reservation for their promotions as well. So these are the things that have been suggested. We will be seeing one by one. Okay, so the government provided solution is age relaxation. So for any promotions in this science and the research areas, okay, they are giving the age relaxations. Even for the promotions, they are giving the age relaxation. But that is alone is not enough. When we see in the original, the reality cases, constitutionally it is valid, okay, where we have given with the provisions of DPSP 51 article, okay, the equally paid and everything, along with that article 15 and article 16, everything have been discussed here. We will be seeing one by one. Okay, so the opportunity in the public special provisions for women and children, okay, and also the opportunity in the public sectors and everywhere with a special consideration for women, all these are there. But constitutionally it is valid, socially it is necessary, but it is very minimal. The age relaxation alone will not help with the empowerment of women. Okay, so we need much more updations, we need much more flexibilities. So what are all those problems earlier, like generally people face, women faces when it comes to researchers, women researchers? The dual burden, the double burden affects the postdoctoral researchers. Like if I am doing PhD or any other work, okay, in between if I give birth to a child, so that is stopping me. Or the postdoctoral, after doctoral, what I have to do, okay, so there is a career setup, like there is a like there is a small backward in my career setup. Okay, the mid career scientist who are in who is getting married or something, there is also blockage. And also women with young children, the women with young children faces two different problems. One is they cannot take them to the research centers and everywhere, okay, so that is one of the institutions is not giving the child care flexibility for those people. And the second thing is like, because, hence I am not giving having the institutional support. I have to sit in the home and I have to take care of my child only. So that is creating a career gap for me. Okay, so that is a major issue. So issues here they have mentioned is career breaks, okay, the delayed publications, because as a PhD student or something, the research will be stopped in between and I cannot be proceeded with that. So there will again I have to do the double work will be done on that, right. So the delayed publications that will not be accepted by the researchers, okay, and the deadlines and reduced promotions deadlines also will be what, the rigid deadlines, within this deadline you have to do it, but already I have a dual burden, so with that it will be difficult for me. And the promotions, reduced promotions because of my lower works, okay, the lower concentration in my professional life, where I am giving more of my energy and time to my personal life for the child and the family, there I have been provided with very less opportunities and also the very less promotions, okay. So the lower representation, eventually that is giving the lower representation. In case if India's research institutions, the scientific institutions, be it the space, aerospace, okay, the defense, whatever it is, if the institution is providing the maternity leave along with the paternity leave, because paternity leave matters much, okay. So one person can take care of the child, the emotional values also will be taken into the consideration. Along with that I will be having what, the major, along with that I will be having a issue, okay, sorry, along with that I will be having my like female family member also will be working, her career also will be well versed, right. So that is what the major thing here, okay. So when it comes to the women participation, it is always lesser than male. Okay, the male is participating in the 57 percentage, and the female participation is about 43 percentage. Okay. So what else can be done? So when we see the constitutional provisions, the Indian Constitution, the Article 15, subclause 3, they have it allows the state to make special provisions for women and children, so that you can give your maternity leave in the state governed institutions or anything, okay. Even you can give the flexibility when it comes to state universities or certain things, you can give the reservations and also the flexibility, age relaxation, timeline rigidness can be made flexible for those people, for those women who are going with that, okay. So the state can do the special provisions. When it comes to Article 16, equality of opportunity, here one more thing, we will be seeing the actual equality and also the substantial equality, okay. We will be seeing one by one. So the equal opportunity for women is, sorry, equal opportunity here is in every public employment, male and female irrespective of the gender, caste, race and everything, okay, people have to be provided with equal opportunity. But here the equal opportunity is said in the constitution, the hurdles are faced different by male and female. See, it is not said like males doesn't have any hurdles at all, it is not like that. Male have different hurdles, women have different hurdles, okay. When it comes to women, there is family, caregiving and the child. So these kind of additional hurdles and the emotional hurdles are more with women. So that is what been discussed here. Okay. So the corrective equality have to be given. When it comes to corrective equality is opportunities have to be given to both male and female, but the corrective equality is about giving the flexibility in the timelines, giving the flexibility in completing a work, okay. Along with that, the institutional support which we have talked about, the feeding centers, okay, the child daycare in the institution itself. So these kind of things will be helping Indian women especially to work on the career things, okay. So that is the corrective equality here they are talking about. When it comes to the DPSP Article 51A subclause E, it says that to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. So we have to remove those practices which is actually derogatory to the dignity of the women, which is reducing the dignity of the women, that we have to stop it. Okay. So the maternity benefit in India, if you see the Amendment Act of 2017, it have been amended like from 12 weeks to 26 weeks, women will be provided with maternity leave. But the issue again, we are talking about the career gap. For this 26 weeks, we will be having the career gap, right? So, along with the maternity leave, if there is the paternity leave is also been given, the child will be taken care of whom? Both the parent, like father also will be having the exposure to take care of the child, and the mother also will be taking. So if father is taking like paternity leave, the mother can focus on the career, and if mother is taking off the like maternity leave, at that time the father will be working on his career. So this kind of equal opportunity should be given. Okay. Then, so generally in these kind of things that affects the women representation in the STEM kind of development. Okay, so STEM industries, the STEM development. So there we are giving the skill and technological things. So where there the women participation is very less. Okay, so here we are talking about the Supreme Court judgment where in Vijay Lakshmi versus Punjab University 2003, the Supreme Court have held that okay, there is a formal and substantive equality. Substantive equality have to be given when it comes to this kind of cases, where the formal equality that I have told you, like men and women will be provided with equal opportunities, but substantial equality is about the additional facilities provided for them to progress with those equal opportunities. Okay, so that is what the substantial equality. Is it clear till now? If there is any doubt, please let me know, otherwise we will be moving. So the limitations here is about the reforms. Okay, so the limitation here is about only one particular solution have been taken care so far, which is age relaxations, right? And that too, the one pedaled reform limitation have been given, which is the maternity leave alone. The paternity leave has not been given. So unless and until I have a flexibility timeline, if you are giving despite having what, despite having this like maternity leave, I will be having what, the career gaps as well. So if you are supporting with the institutional support and also the paternity leave, that will be helping women to go with further career procedures. Okay. So what are all the reforms that have been suggested here? Re-entry fellowship. Again, when I'm coming back after my marriage or after my childbirth and everything, I should be given with a re-entry into any research or any like projects. Okay, that is first. Second thing is about the flexible timelines. To complete a research, to complete a study, I need a flexible timelines because I have to take care of my family and along with my child, right? Then no cost grant extensions, the scholarships and everything, the child care support, where we talked about the institutional support like daycare, okay, child care, support in the institutions itself. If somebody else is able to take care of the toddler and everything, the women can do their work properly, right? So the flexible milestone reporting, where I can be provided with flexible timings, and also I can be provided with certain reservations in the promotions also. Okay, so that is what here. So when it comes to the international practices, caregiving flexibility are being given with the timelines, grants, okay, and the additional support, and reintegration. When they want to come back and join, there won't be any gaps, instead they will be having like a continuity. Okay, then the flexible okay, the grant structure also we have talked about. Okay, so these are the things particularly have been discussed. So if we go with all these things, okay, so we will be having a better women representation, better representation will be there, women empowerment will be good, gender gap we can eradicate the gender gap, and also we will be able to see much better women representation when it comes to the technological and the STEM based like STEM based departments. Okay, that is what the major issue, that is what majorly discussed here. Okay. Then comes the strategic spark in India South Korea defense ties. So here, from buying and selling of defense, we have moved to what? The deeper strategic partnership in Indo-Pacific region. So why Indo-Pacific region is very important for India? First thing is, not only for India, South Korea is also very active in Indo-Pacific region, and it is important. The strategic partnership between India and South Korea is equally important for India as well as the South Korea. Okay. So if you see why it is for South Korea, the China's activeness in China Sea, okay, where the major supply, like it is a huge supply route, first thing, and second thing, the China's activeness there, it will be giving the geopolitical tensions also for South Korea. And along with that, Russia and North Korea's ties, okay, their military and the defense ties, that is making South Korea little vulnerable, because North Korea and South Korea, they are not in the good terms, and if Russia's being, okay, Russia's being in this involvement with all North Korea's all those defense and these things, that will be a added disadvantage to South Korea. But when it comes to India, by like China's activeness there, it will be a challenge for India to approach all those other Indo-Pacific countries to for market or any other collaboration or partnership. It will be a like difficulty for India, right? And along with that, what will be happening, if you see, like we are mostly into diversifying our resources, right? So mostly Southeast Asian, Southeast countries are very important for India for market. Along with that, we are going to get more technology from them when it comes to Malaysia, okay, and Korea, South Korea. All these areas are like technology oriented. Okay. Then even our metro system is from Japan, like we have collaborated with Japan also, right? So the stability, the peace in Indo-Pacific region is important for us, and also for the maritime security also it is important. Okay. So these are the things why we are going with defense ties with South Korea. Okay. So already the K9 Vajra we have already discussed about it. The propulsion artillery, right? The guns with like automatic propulsion and everything. So that is a major collaboration by L&T of India, and also the space organization of whom the South Korea have collaborated, and they have formulated this K9 Vajra artillery. Okay. So these kind of collaboration and the defense innovations will be helpful to export our defense systems, defense equipments. It will be lowering the dependence on other countries. Along with that, it will be giving the edge in defense production, and also we can be having an export edge in the exports also. We can not only the products and everything like handlooms, MSME products, okay, steel, cement and all these things. Along with that, we will be exporting in a much higher, much productive things. Okay. Yes, Saumi, what is your question? Please let me know. Okay. So this is what the major thing. So now we are going to collaborate with the submarine collaborations and everything, because they have a very good submarine when it comes to South Korea. Okay. So the North Korea's missile and the nuclear program, that is also basic concern for South Korea, and China's activeness is also concern for South Korea. The same kind of concern that we have with China. Okay. So we are actually sharing a like more or less equal situation. So that is why it is important for us to go with that. So if you see, earlier the partnership was related to only defense purchase, like selling and buying alone was there, but now it have been improved to what? The defense manufacturing, as we talked about the K9 Vajra. Okay, together we are going to build certain defense equipments, and the technological transfers that we are going to get from South Korea. Shipbuilding, one of a good shipbuilding industries in South Korea. We are going to work along with aerospace, military innovations, and also the Indo-Pacific security as well. ठीक है. I didn't get you, Saumi. Can you please brief it, or can you please rephrase it? I'm not able to get it. Okay. So, what is the significance, the importance of this partnership? If you see, the global unstableness is the major issue. So, where India is also getting affected, South Korea is also getting affected because of the instability. We are going to see one by one. First is India's growing assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific region, where this will be disturbing the South Korea's supply chain. Okay, along with that, the activeness of China will be giving a hurdle for India's progress in the Indo-Pacific region, right? And the North Korea's nuclear program and the missile program, that will be having a huge concern for South Korea. Okay, when it comes to Russia and North Korea cooperation, this is an added disadvantage to South Korea when two huge nations who have greater missiles and also greater defense technology, if they start attacking South Korea, it will be a huge fall for South Korea. So, now India and South Korea will be having a collaboration, so that there will be a strategic partnership also will be there. We will be having a we will be combating the same, we will be combating countries with a shared responsibilities. Okay? The maritime cooperation, where we have talked about the supply routes and also the markets, extended markets and everything. Supply chain insecurity, where China's aggression will be making South Korea to lose its supply chain things. Okay? Now, so how the defense relation have been evolved with India and South Korea? पहले ये economic oriented था, मतलब trade oriented earlier. Then it have been moved to strategic partnership, where the technological transfers and the defense exports will be happening. Okay? And now it have been moved to even more a better one, which is maritime security we are going to work upon, and the defense innovation also we are going to set the stability in Indo-Pacific region. So, it is a kind of a more of defense from defense cooperation and everything, we have moved towards strategic partnership. So, we will be having a maritime security based and also the technological based partnership. Okay. So, K9 Vajrati, a flagship project. So, this you have to keep that in mind, where L&T have been working with this, forgot its spelling, just a second, the aerospace. I'll show you. I'll show you later. Okay. Then, so L&T have worked with them. It's a flagship project where more we are going to work upon lithium batteries also. Eventually, the submarines. Okay, all these technologies we are going to learn from South Korea. We like what India is going to give to South Korea. Market, skilled employees, where in South Korea the people like the youth aged people are declining. Okay, so now they need for the military they need a very good equipments, missiles, technology, and along with that they need people also, right? So, when there is a decline demography in South Korea, India's skilled and the military collaboration will be helpful for them to combat North Korea and the Russian aggressions. Okay? So, that is what we are going to give. So, South Korea what is going to give to India? The technology, okay, when it comes to submarines, defense equipments, okay, and also we are going to get from South Korea is the lithium batteries, the iron ore, all these things we are going to get from South Korea. So, that is a major thing here. So, new cooperations are about the submarines, aerospace collaboration, shipbuilding, defense innovation. If you see the shipbuilding, we were connected with the Arctic cooperation, where we are going to have a icebreaker shipbuilding. So, we will be having the lesser shipping cost, and along with that we will be having research about Arctic region related to Himalaya. So, for all these things, shipbuilding is basic one, which is important that we are going to learn from South Korea. Okay. Then, if you see the opportunities for India, the technologies we are going to learn from AI, South Korea's AI, robotics, and etc. The supply chain will be stable. Okay, the trusted partner will be there for us. Indo-Pacific strategy will be drawn, where China's activeness will be controlled, and also we will be having extended uh, opportunity when it comes to Southeast especially. Then the maritime security, also the defense modernization. But the challenges that we are facing here is about, okay, the implementation gaps, where generally all the partnership and FTAs will be like having lot of paperwork, and it has been delayed here. Okay, so that is the implementation gaps. And next comes to the financial constraints. So India's finance, when it comes to like collaborating with the other nations, we have like the research developments and also the space, they have very less fundings. So that is what the major issue here. And challenges about China, where China is more progress, and when they got to know like South Korea and India is having a defense ties, then obviously China will be looking for other opportunities to combat India. Okay, the technology sharing limits here is a major issue. The defense exports are not that easy. We have to clear more paperwork, and in UN also we have to give more clarifications. Okay, so there it is a major issue. The technological sharing, defense exports are a limited one. So that is a major issue that we are facing. Okay. Moving on, the next one is about, the last one is about CIC. So the Central Information Commission have told that BCCI is not a public authority under RTI. So BCCI is not obliged to give their information, okay, based upon RTI Act of 2005. So now we are going to see why CIC have told that BCCI is not under the cover under the RTI. What is the requirements for RTI especially, so that they will be giving the information for public. Okay, and why why it is a dispute between BCCI. Okay. So if you see BCCI, it is Registration Act of 1975. Here BCCI is an autonomous body, neither it is getting the fund, okay, nor it is enacted through any law or something. It is completely autonomous body. There is nothing to take care by the government. But the major thing with BCCI is the players actually represent India through BCCI, the Board of Control for Cricket, right? And also people are getting selected through this BCCI, right? So the selection process, who's getting in, how and what basis they are getting, and all these have to be given to people, because eventually the people are getting into the teams and they are representing India, right? So that is what the major issue is. So there shouldn't be any like the privilege, because of certain privileges, the candidate who is having the potential should not be left out. So that is what the major concern, why we are asking the information about how the selection process is happening in BCCI. Based upon that, RTI will be filed, okay, but CIC have clearly mentioned RTI will not be covering the BCCI as it is a autonomous body. So we are going to see, it is not created by the constitutional parliament, which is BCCI, and it is not substantially funded by government. So there is no government fundings to directly or indirectly by the government to BCCI. So completely it is autonomous. So it will not be coming under RTI Act section 2. Okay. So we are going to see what is section 2H of RTI Act and how it is exempted. Okay. You all know in RTI they have the exemptions under section 8, where they will not be providing you certain informations when it comes to the national security, okay, the cabinet papers, okay, and certain very sensitive informations. In recently also we have studied, right, the RTI have been amended so that the personal things will not be provided through RTA, right? The personal informations will not be much, personal informations will not be provided, right? So all these are one of the components of RTA, the exemptions, right? So now we are going to see the section 2H of RTA. First thing, RTA have been, it is a statutory body, okay? It is enacted through a law in the parliament in 2005. So where they have been provided with CIC, which is Chief Information Commissioner and the Commission, okay? Through a law it have been enacted. So the CIC, the Chief Information Commissioner, will be having the mandate. It will be directing the people. He will be directing the people to what? Give the information. Have to be given me with the information. If they are not giving, I'll be appealing it to CIC. So the Chief Information Commissioner will be directing the persons to give the information about the query. Okay, so that is what the CIC will be doing. They will be understanding the things. They will be mandating the people to give the informations and everything. So RTI provides legal right to seek information from public authority, okay, and derived it have been derived from Article 19(1)(a), where the Supreme Court have held that right to know is equal to the right to freedom of expression, speech and expression. Okay, so that is part of freedom of speech, where you will be like, I have to know so that I can be like expressing my opinion, right? So it is a part of freedom of speech. Okay, so the public authority have been defined under section 2H. What is public authority under section 2H? We are going to see it. So any constitutional body, okay, or any statutory body is enacted through a law by a parliament, okay, or any state legislature enacted body. So these are called statutory. Okay, so any constitutional statutory body, or else any body that have been funded by government directly or indirectly, they will be coming under whom? The RTI Act. So they are called as a public authority and they are supposed to give the informations to public people. Okay. So now if you see the nature of BCI, we have BCCI, we have already said that it is not enacted through any law, or it is neither a constitutional body nor a statutory body, and they will be having, they have no touch with the government fundings. Okay. So here the problem is with like it is important for BCCI to give the information because it selects the national teams. Okay, people are being represented the India internationally, and it uses the public stadium. So when they are using the public things, and it is necessary for them to give the information about the things. Okay, so but it have been clearly mentioned, it will not be provided. Okay, then when we are talking about, that is with the RTI and the public authorities, now we are going to see CIC. It is mostly of static part only, this article we are just going to see. Okay, the highest appellate body under RTI at a center level. Okay, so when it comes to the center level, the CIC is the highest appellate, like RTI, when it comes to RTI, CIC is the highest appeal. Okay, then the composition is Chief Information Commissioner will be there, come se come 10 CICs will be there. So there will be 10 CICs in the commission. Okay, and along with that, the appointment of CIC will be like, so there will be recommendation from like a PM, like leader of opposition of Lok Sabha, and also the cabinet minister who has been nominated by Prime Minister. They three will be sitting together and they will be giving the recommendation to President. The appointment will be based upon President. If you can you tell me the same kind of composition we have already seen in one particular case? Can you please tell me, like where a week before or something we have read about it, where the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition people also will be there along with the Chief Justice of India for somebody's appointment. Can you please tell me? Because very recently we have read about it. Okay, give the answer, till then we will be discussing it. Okay. So the tenure will be like 5 years. The CIC, the Chief Information Commissioner, will be having like they can go for up to 65 years at their age, or else the provided the recommended years, whichever is earlier. Okay, till then they will be in the chair. Okay, then it hears, okay, RTI appeals, and also disclosures the order, like they will be mandating the person, concerned person, to give the information. Okay, and it will be hearing the complaints also. The functions of CIC is, the Chief Information Commission is, okay, ensuring the transparency and improves the penalties. Okay, and it enforces RTA. So whomsoever is asking through RTA, they will be providing the information through that. Okay, so just quickly tell me, what was the appointment things that we have recently talked about, where the Prime Minister and the leader of opposition. One more clause, like Rahul Gandhi have had a problem with that. So, the appointment is about basically on CBI director. Okay. So now just solve this question, which of the following can come under RTI Act. First, constitutional body. Second one is NGOs financed by government and private companies. RTI Act. Can you tell me the answer? Okay, the answer will be what? So, constitutional body comes under what? The RTI Act, right? Then also the NGOs financed by the government. So, if there is any government funding directly and indirectly, they will be having this. So, the answer will be 1 and 2 only. The private companies which are not financed by the government, which are autonomous, they will not be having that. So, 1 and 2 only, ma'am, was in statement 3, financially autonomous. Very good, Venkatatri, and very good, Rashidharan. Okay. So, this is the, and so one more question. What is the flagship program of India and South Korea's defense ties? Can you please tell me? Recently we have discussed. So, I want answer for that also. The flagship program, the flagship project actually. Any answers? Okay. Chalo. It is K9 Vajrati. Okay. That is the flagship about the propellant, automatic propellant artillery that we are using. Okay. So, that is it for the day. Let us wind up for the day. We will be connecting tomorrow again. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, we will wind up the session. Okay. So, I guess there is no doubts. Chaliye. Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you so much. Okay.